Alright, good morning everybody. I'm back on the creek, different spot. I've dug here before, got 0.15, so I'm hoping to get about that again today. But just to show you something about where I'm at, you can see there's some old flood material in that dirt, lots of quartz pieces in it. So as that washes out, little bits of gold might wash out, so this stream is replenished as the banks erode. But the other interesting thing about this spot is this reef. So this is an ancient reef of some sort of conglomerate that's set up like cement. I don't know if it has much gold in it or not, but it doesn't wear very much. I don't think it's releasing a lot of gold. But what's interesting about this spot is this reef is on an outside bend. And so I think this bend has been here a long time. And so my thought is what I'm going to do is dig on the inside bend a little bit. There's a big sandbar that's flooded over the corner, so it's a dropout zone. I've dug test pans. There's a lot of really small micro gold. I just hope there's enough quantity as I get into it. That'll add up maybe to 0.1, 0.15. But that's a pretty interesting bit of info about this area. So here's the top end of that inside bend. You can see the bank's been worn out by the river flooding and stuff. And it comes down here, and right about this spot, it starts to widen out into a bank, a big old gravel bank heading down that way on the inside turn. This bank used to be a lot wider. I guess it's been washed out some, so it gives me access to deeper material, more on the inside bend. And this is what I'm digging. So it's just flood material for now. I'm trying to get down deep. It's a little bit of a clay ball there washed out from somewhere nearby upstream, maybe that eroding bank. It's a nice piece of rhyolite there, big old chunk of quartz, so, and a piece of wood bark. So yeah, you can tell this is flood material, but hopefully there's enough quantity in there. I'm using my 10 by 20 Dream Mat sluice. And my initial thoughts are you're supposed to be able to dig and dump it in this upper section here and it'll flood and clean out, but it's not as easy as you think. You have to still squat down and clear the rocks at the beginning and stuff, and it's not the ideal setup because I don't have a really good place for my tailings to drop off and disappear, so I have to clean that out every once in a while. I added this indicator strip, but it's not ever been that effective, so I'm thinking about taking it back off. I think there might be some gold in there though. I think that's a couple flecks of gold right there. It doesn't seem to hold the gold that well. There's the sluice, the little vortex sections. They're all cleared out. Got some heavies in them, a little bit of black sand in that one. All right, so my initial plan for the day is I dug 20 scoops of the flood material off the top. It was pretty sandy. But I did get down to some heavier and larger rocks. But I did 20 shovelfuls through this sluice to clear that easy overburden and get a little gold. There is one piece like right there, so there is gold in it. I just not expecting a whole lot. They're mostly flood material. But the rest of the day, I think I'm going to start classifying and then running it through this sluice. There's the first sluice full, about one bucket full approximately of material. So a pretty good piece count, but it is really smalls and micros. A lot of fine gold there. Didn't really feel a pile with my fingers, so I'm going to say it's like 0.025. So if I can get 4 buckets, might be 0.1 for the day. We'll see. Hopefully it'll get better as I get down into the bigger rocks that might hold more and bigger gold maybe. All right, still working on bucket 2, digging this area out here. I got down to some bigger rocks, and then I started hitting some hard bedrock-like material. And I mean, the bedrock is just like right here, deep. It's not very deep, but I don't think it's bedrock. I think it's reef, top of a reef material. So based on all the black stains, conglomerate sticking to that stuff. So I think I'm going to try digging just a little bit out towards the center of the creek a little bit and see if I can't find a place where that reef drops off and maybe has been accumulating gold along that drop off. All right, I've got my bucket here, classified material. This is going to run through the sluice differently than the LPE. Should be a lot faster if this sluice and the drain mat. So let's do 5 scoops real quick. All right, bucket number 2 felt smaller than bucket number 1, so maybe 0.02 in there. So I think that sluice holds the micros okay. There's, lots of micros in there. The material didn't develop like I thought it would. I thought as I got closer to the bedrock, I'd get a little bit more clays and stuff and then decomposing bedrock. But it went like straight down flood gold all the way down to the top of the reef. So I wasn't expecting that. Yep, looks like it got worse. 0.01 or something. So far 3 buckets, maybe 0.06 if I'm lucky. So once in a while you dig up, more modern stuff. But I've never dug up a little glass neck like that on some kind of tiny little bottle. That's pretty neat. Never seen one quite like that before. But a couple shovels later, this pops up. A white marble. And I've never found one of those either. I don't know how old that is, but it looks kind of small for a regular marble, but wow, that's a surprise. I'm going to keep that. So I'm kind of struggling with my material today. I think I found the edge of the reef. I've got to dig a lot of this flood off, and then it's getting it down into some tan clay, so hopefully there's some gold sticking to that stuff, and it's been running on it for a while. All right, bucket number 4. I got on some better sandy tan clay material just away from the bank for a few feet. And I've seen more gold come through the sluice. A piece there, a nice piece right there. But then I just saw this one pop out in the corner. I don't know if this one might be a picker, maybe a small picker. I don't know, that's a good sign though. Alright, there's a nice piece of gold that popped up there. I'm trying to get it to focus on it, it's too wavy. There's a few other pieces in there. There's a couple right there. Couple right there. So pan it out and see what that big chunk looks like. All right, I'll show you what my heavies look like. A lot of that ironstone, magnetic ironstone. Got some gold showing up in that corner. Look, that might be the piece right there. It looks pretty jaggedy, like it just broke out of the cores or something. A couple nice pieces, and looks like the rest of the stuff smalls and micros maybe. All right, there it is. Nice three-dimensional piece. I can feel thickness with my finger, so pretty nice. I don't know, that might be around, I'm gonna say 0.04 total there. So maybe that'll take me up to 0.1 today. That might be my little savior right there. Make today worthwhile. It's a really pretty piece of gold. Looks fresh, not, tumbled in the river or anything. Okay, bucket number 5. I'm going to call that 0.12. I thought I was on better material than that, a lot of sandy clays. But nope, no other big pieces showing up. So that puts me guesstimate of a 0.12 day for 5 buckets. So a lot of work for that. But it is pretty, and I got one nice pretty piece of gold today. So we'll look at that some more later when I do the cleanup. All right, quick way up here. I've got my scale teared out already. It's like 0.109 grams. So I estimated around 0.12, so wasn't too far off. I was hoping it was an error in the other way. Well, today is a warm day, so I'm going to pick it up around 75 and let that little fella. Not sure if that's a garter snake or just some sort of water snake, but he's a pretty one, just kind of stripedy. He's maybe a foot long, maybe 10 inches long. The mosquitoes are out already too. It's March 9th, and I got bit by a mosquito today too. Go figure.